and Garrett, all three of us here, the unholy trio, if you will. All of us are here, the squaw.
Squad.
We're talking some wrestling. Yeah, I kind of like this cat. I like these better. Garrett can have his bottom to himself. Good job, Garrett. You can be the
don't talk
power.
about my bottom like that, sir.
You can be the power bottom of the stream.
I am always the power bottom. Ooh, I'm lifting you up.
Oh my.
Hello, Aaron. Hello, Mike. Since
Welcome.
Mike was first in chat, we got to talk. Charlie, how's your fantasy team doing?
I stomped Mike, and it was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, game got a little out of hand, and you know what? This actually gonna be a good week for us, boys. Never mind. I thought you would beat Trey, but Trey beat you with all Cowboys players, basically. How does it feel to lose to the Dallas Cowboys, Garrett?
And the Cowboys and Trey.
Listen, if Saquon hadn't gotten injured, like what was it, week 2 or 3, I would probably be in a way better position than I am right now. But it did not work out for me, boys. That's all I'll say.
That's true. It is tough.
I don't want to talk about it. Leave me alone.
Anyway,
97 points.
I was assaulted. So anyway, how'd Aaron do this week? Aaron couldn't pull out the dub against Rick. I mean, I guess he theoretically could, but Aaron Jones or Marvin Jones would have to go nuts, like literally right now. All right, let's talk some Raw, SmackDown, where we got the draft wrap up here. I'm watching the Packers game. Aaron Rodgers did something nutty, maybe, but
what's the score?
22-20 lines up.
Charlie
Packers
just
got the ball under 4 minutes.
I was gonna say, keep me updated.
Sure.
Charlie's got it on another screen. I'm not going dual screen tonight, so Charlie will just have to update us on what's going on. Feel free to blur it out.
Oh, for sure.
So we had the WWE draft, SmackDown and Raw. Now, obviously, there was this giant snafu. Everyone knew the exact order of who was getting picked as far as what was being planned, because WWE sent the list of who was going to be getting picked, and the intern or whoever that ended up publishing it on WWE.com didn't reorder the people on each show to be alphabetical. And if you go on WWE, the draft eligible people, they ended up making them alphabetical after Friday. But Friday night, we knew the exact order of what everyone was getting picked in. Garrett, were you aware of this? Did you watch it live, and did it ruin the draft for you at all?
No, this was like this was the coming back show. It's actually kind of, if you think about it, a perfect moment since I've been not watching, but a few, like I watched like a little bit of the last Raw, and I forgot to set up to record SmackDown because it was moving to Fox, so I didn't have the first episode. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I just don't know what happened there, but I think I looked up the results from that or something like that, so I knew there was some stuff going on, and then I looked up and I accidentally looked up a spoiler. That had already been published. So all kinds of stuff was getting leaked right before that. I knew there was stuff that people were just messing up. Results of matches for certain shows were it was crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was
posting your own draft results is an all-time blunder. And
Podcat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the cat has arrived. Are we doing? Oh, the cat says no. The cat says no. The cat does not want to be on the stream.
Charlie, do you think that it would have been more fun if it were just a shoot actual Fox and USA executives just duking it out for people?
That'd be kind of crazy.
The Fox USA Executive Battle Royal.
They'd pick the people that look the best, so they'd be like Titus O'Neil, pick one.
They totally
in my
picked
head,
a guy
I pictured that it
in
was
the Fox team that looked like Tony Khan. I'm not even kidding.
Oh, no.
There was a guy in the room.
In my head, I picture that they like. I picture that it's Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman like having a shoot draft at first, knowing that it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, kind of like that.
Yeah, I like the idea that maybe they actually did both sit down together with like Vince in the room, and then like Shane and Stephanie and Triple H, all the big wigs, if they sat down, plus maybe the heads of each creative team. Well, I guess they are the head of creative now, so.
Let's our boy Zach White here. He says Bray was right. History has a horrific way of repeating itself. So let's talk about this real quick. The last 4 minutes of the show, we knew what was happening. They've been saying all night Seth's going fiend hunting.
Yeah, he's going fiend hunting, and that Bray Wyatt has promised us a Firefly Funhouse segment. And it literally, we had 3 minutes left until the end of this show, so we were like, well, we know what's happening. So all of a sudden, Firefly Funhouse, Bray starts saying some stuff. Ramblin' Rabbit is freaking out.
That guy, dude, Rabbit is so good. When you just hear him in the background, like, just, no! It gets me.
Bray, I'm scared. We gotta leave. Seth's coming for us. And he's like, don't worry. The Fiend will protect us. And then as he's saying that, Seth jumps out from out of the camera. Once again, great acting job by Bray. Just, Seth, why are you doing this to me? He looks so sad. Just, Seth, I like you. Why are you attacking me? And then Garrett, Seth burned down the Firefly Funhouse. Do you think this is the end? Do you think this is a way for them to move to just Fiend Bray Wyatt? So 2 questions.
So, I mean, I think if they want to transition him back into being Bray again after this character has run its course, which eventually it will, obviously, nothing in wrestling lasts. Especially a great thing like this, you don't want it to be ruined. You want this to be a big footnote in his career, like when he defeated Randy Orton for the championship, So, like you have those big, milestone moments in your career. This needs to be one for him because this was the most creative freedom I think anybody's ever been given in WWE, to be honest with you. And I feel like this is their way of like countering the argument that they don't let people do that. They're like, well, look what we're doing with Bray Wyatt right now. Look at what we're doing with people like Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler right now, doing a Cesaro type thing, but they're doing it in their own way. Like this, it feels completely different. Like they're actually villains instead of just like the comic villains that Cesaro were.
Yeah.
Yeah. But but I don't know if it necessarily ends it. They still have the match to be had. So I mean, that's going to be where you find out, I guess, for sure, right? Depending on what happens in that match.
And I think this is what Zach is referring to as history has a way of repeating itself. I don't think anyone wanted to see that again because they booked themselves in the corner before, and now it's like. I'm thinking that this trade is going to be for Bray to Raw and maybe to spice up the women's division because we'll show the rosters at the end, the full rosters, but Raw has no tag division and SmackDown's women's division is 5 people, 4 of which are heels. So I'm thinking that's going to be the trade because they keep saying, the trade. So they're going to break his trade tomorrow on Backstage is my guess, the new Renee Young show, and maybe they'll talk about how CM Punk's with him now. That'd be fun. And I'm curious why they're going to run that match back again after what happened. But maybe it's to put the belt on Ray in Saudi Arabia.
Okay. So let's talk Saudi Arabia show in general. So we know that we've got the Braun and Tyson Fury, which I thought the segment last week was much better. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. So we've got that matchup. We have Cain Velasquez versus Brock Lesnar. So we've got basically the 2, if they were shoot fights, would be very, at least enjoyable. Tyson Fury would beat the ever-living piss out of Braun Strowman. But, okay, look. If it was a shoot fight and you made Tyson Fury wear gloves and Braun didn't have to, would it be?
Hey, just a random side note about Tyson Fury. He's been training at the Performance Center for months. He is not going to Saudi Arabia to embarrass himself. So he's taking this very seriously.
And people that don't know, boxing is very storyline heavy these days. So Tyson Fury being charismatic is part of his character at this point.
What do you guys think
Everything's
about how
a super fight now?
How they've transitioned. So the Saudi shows, they've transitioned from bringing these old WWE legends back to bringing in other combat sports legends.
I think that the Velasquez thing is really interesting, right? Like,
yeah.
I think it's indicative of the way that the world is kind of moving to now, where even in Saudi Arabia, I think that they are in tune with UFC and boxing and their popularity and new TV deals and all these things. I mean, you couldn't just bring in any boxer against Braun Strowman, but Tyson Fury, hell yeah, you can.
6'8" Gypsy King, undefeated guy. Yeah.
I mean, hey, bring in John Jones to face Lesnar. Dude, probably be a good pro wrestler. I'm ready. But I mean, they're probably actually going to fight, and they really just don't like each other right now. So,
I mean, who would stop them?
Yeah, it's true. Send in Riddle.
That's what we were saying. Like, what happens if Cain Velasquez and Brock actually were to shoot fight? You send in Finley down to the ring like you do during the worked fights?
Yeah, hell no. At that point, yeah, I don't know.
All right, give me right now, Garrett.
You have to send like Shinsuke.
You got to send people Lashley. You're gonna have to send actual
Shinsuke,
MMA
Lashley.
fighters.
Oh jeez,
Alistair Black has a nice heel kick if he wants to unload one.
I mean, he was trained allegedly in Muay Thai, but so was allegedly, CM Punk, and how that worked out for him. But anyway, not that I don't, still love Punk, but like that aside, like I don't know, like I think Shinsuke is obviously your number one because we know he has fight experience, but like I don't know who else do you still have.
And Shinsuke is still way
Matt
smaller.
Riddle. Matt Riddle. This is where you set up the match.
Yeah, this is the Matt Riddle. I think is the only one that's breaking peace. Maybe Lashley. Like that's it. Like if those two start swinging.
If I thought people in Saudi knew or cared about who Matt Riddle was, I would say
they do yet.
If Matt Riddle came out and laid out Lesnar and Kane, but they wouldn't do that.
No, they wouldn't, and they wouldn't like him either.
Exactly. He's a heel. Pass interference defense. Okay.
Yeah.
Charlie, this is getting close, man.
Booger is saying terrible call. So he's screaming terrible call.
I mean, dude, he's been pro Lions the entire game. I don't want to hear it.
So I'm guessing let's just run through everything that's not the draft, and then we'll hit the draft at the end and talk about the rosters.
Okay, good idea. So Becky Lynch is, she was the number 1 overall draft pick of the entire draft. So she, they showcased her early on. She ends up getting the win over Charlotte Flair, allowing Raw to get the first pick in tonight's draft, which
SmackDown still loses everything.
Yeah, SmackDown, but we'll talk about it anyway. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, I thought the match was good between Becky and Charlotte. Did you guys like it?
Yeah, I felt like that was kind of the trend of the night. They knew who they were sending out to have matches tonight.
Agree, but I just feel like it was a little slow at start, and I wasn't really into it at first, but like it did pick up toward the end. I don't know.
I will say I was ready to get the draft going for sure.
Me too.
But for what it was, I thought I like the finish. I like Becky getting the win, still staying on top. She's been a very good women's champion, and I like to keep her strong.
Yeah, Zach, we'll get to that in just a little bit once we get into the draft stuff. Otherwise, the other matches tonight were kind of based around, other than the tag match, were kind of based around this whole, these superstars are trying to showcase themselves so that they can get themselves drafted, like Shelton Benjamin in his match. And
Jamal Williams just had the weirdest fall I've ever seen.
Well, I'm about to watch. You're about 10 seconds ahead of me, so I'm going to watch it in a minute. But what?
They're setting up the field goal.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, instead of running it in. Weird. Okay.
You guys are getting live Packers updates.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so Zach says, I think it's time for Becky to drop the title. It's the same situation as Kofi. Garrett, do you agree?
I mean, here's the thing. I feel like it's the same thing on both ends. It was a great run while it lasted, but it never really did anything with them. And that seems to be what they do with champions. They never really did anything with Seth. Way back when Kevin Owens was the champion, who did he drop the title to? Goldberg. What is happening with WWE in the last 5 years? I just don't know.
The big title run seemed to drop to weird hands. And
so here's the thing, though. Even with Kofi, you could make the case that there were bigger male stars in the company other than Kofi. True. Even with him as champion.
Absolutely.
Charlie, can you make the case that there is a bigger female star in the company other than Becky?
If you really wanted to, you could try and say Ronda or Charlotte. Ronda probably, but Ronda's not here, right? So we don't know if she's coming back.
She probably will come back. I mean, she's implied that anyway.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for one more match,
But honestly, no, I don't think so right now. Becky's the one that was the first draft pick. She was the one that was out there with The Rock, and she's the one winning. And looking at the Raw roster, I don't know who's taking it from her, other than Charlotte.
No, I agree, and we'll talk about this when we get to the draft. But I like the idea of putting them together. At first, I didn't. So, we see. Let's talk about probably my favorite match of the night. We saw the not War Raiders, Viking
Packers win.
Raiders. Did they? Up and good? Good. Nice.
Yep.
All right, cool. I'll turn it off then. That way I don't lag at all. So we saw the Viking Raiders. We saw the Viking Raiders beat Rude and Ziggler in order to win the tag titles. Now, they were just freshly drafted over to Raw, and it makes sense because later on in the night we saw that Rude and Ziggler went over to SmackDown in the draft. So this is a pretty cool moment for the Viking Raiders, but something that I thought was even cooler, and I'll throw it to Charlie first. Backstage, the Viking Raiders referenced New Japan, Ring of Honor, and NXT, saying that obviously NXT isn't out of the norm, but referencing New Japan and Ring of Honor, saying that they were the first tag team to hold all of those titles. Do you think that's a good move by WWE, or do you think that they shouldn't give them extra exposure? The other
absolutely great move, because most of the hardcore wrestling fans, are watching. They know about that. They know about those shows, and when they hear that, they get excited about it. They're like, oh, cool. They have done such a good job of building these guys, with the whole local talent, the jobbers, if you will, getting the crowd into them. I mean, the crowd is into them. I did not think that would happen for them on the main roster, especially when they debut with the Viking Experience as their names. I'm like, these guys have no hope. And here we are, what is it? 6 months later, I'm completely wrong. They're over tag team champions, and no one can beat them.
It's interesting because it almost starts a conversation with both of those other companies too, if you're WWE, because for years it's just been stealing talent from each other in different places. So maybe this is now one comment on your show isn't going to make a bridge, but it could be like, they're like, hey, stop talking about us on TV, because they don't want to be, they probably don't want to be associated because they're like, wait, we have nothing to do with you, but like, who knows? Because business is weird these days, but I don't know. Everything is like,
it's like a nice touch.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so other big things that happened. Was there any other matches that you guys wanted specifically hit before we talk about draft?
Let me see. We talked about Seth.
I mean, Alistair got a win, but like that's just kind of showing that maybe Raw's gonna let Alistair kind of go a little bit.
Yeah,
I was a fan of. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying I like Ricochet getting a nice dub. Getting him some momentum.
That was nice. I was a big fan of Murphy versus Alexander. I thought this is a smart move. These guys have history, so if people have been paying attention to the Cruiserweight division in the past, which they've seen those matches on the pay-per-views of their hardcore fans, they're going to have something from these guys that they get out of it. And you don't really lose anything by bringing two guys that were both Cruiserweights at one point and have a record against each other already. This doesn't really take away from their overall records losing to one another because they both have that record of fighting each other. That was my fault with Washington. That's a smart move. Neither of these guys lose something out of this match,
Paul Heyman is a Buddy Murphy guy, so I expect hey, this is a good note for him. He's 1-0 with Paul Heyman now, so.
Yeah. Hey. Charlie, what do you think about Usos versus Viking Raiders for the
I definitely think that brings an interesting question, because I feel like the SmackDown's women's division could totally use Naomi, but Raw's tag division desperately needs the Usos, so I'm good with that. I think that'd be very good.
To me, man, I don't know. I feel like I've soured on the Usos. Like, that just...
Definitely.
There's been so much just extracurricular crap that happens with them and all these drunk driving things. Like, eventually, it's just one of the Usos, right? It's Jimmy, I think, that keeps...
I'm not sure. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't want to say a name. Yeah,
exactly. But I believe it might just be one of them over and over again. But we see so many things come out. Like, are we gonna have to wait until they literally kill somebody?
Something really bad happens
for us to finally get off the Usos train. In all honesty, I think that if the Usos weren't part of that Samoan heritage, they wouldn't even be in WWE anymore. I think that WWE would have put their foot down, and I don't want to see them win any more titles. They're entertaining, but it's kind of like when you watch the Chiefs and you watch Tyreek Hill. He's a great player and he's fun to watch, but can you really support the guy? When Kareem Hunt comes back in a couple weeks in the NFL, can you really support the guy? When Vontaze Burfict, no matter how well he's playing for the Raiders, can you support him? Can you support all these dirty players? Can you support Grayson Allen over in basketball? Can you support who was the dude that was biting all the people in FIFA? Goddamn!
Oh yeah, the guy that
Oh God, what was his name?
I can't remember.
Luis.
Yeah, it's definitely Luis something.
Yeah, but like, dude, I don't know. I just can't root for those people anymore because
look at Jeff Hardy. He just got arrested again this week.
I love Jeff Hardy, but I can't be a fan of Jeff Hardy anymore based on the life decisions that he's made. That's just
Look, and this is something that never gets said about Jeff Hardy. I don't care how much you like the dangerous spots that he does. The only reason he's able to do that is because he's on something. I don't care what anybody tells me. He's only able to take that fall and get back up and continue to wrestle because he's not actually there, and they just don't realize it because they didn't catch him that time, you know. And
they chose not to catch him.
or they let it slide because they're like, well, this crazy thing he wants to do, we don't care. He'll do it to his body. I mean, it's like,
I feel like,
do you stop?
if he's on a drug that he can't overdose on, they're like, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? And plus, I know it's horrible to think of, and I don't think WWE has this mindset, but I mean, if you had to pick someone to die in the ring to get some exposure, would Jeff Hardy be the worst option for them? They're literally like, well, you know,
huge fan base.
Like he did it to himself.
Why do they keep bringing the Undertaker out every year? He's not going to die in the ring. They wouldn't let that happen. But if he were to, when the moment he dies, that's going to bring a lot of people back to the WWE. I have a feeling because they're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's gone. What?"
I'm just waiting. Undertaker's going to come back and try to do like a.
I really hope that last thing was the last call, and we're moving on.
I hope so. All right, so how about Lacey and Natalya? God, I hated that match. I think they can both get the hell off my screen.
Yes, you have a last man standing last week. They've had this feud now, and then all of a sudden they're partners. I thought that was just so odd. It's overthunk. Lacey's on SmackDown. Why not? If you're gonna put a pairing together, you know. I was thinking it'd be Dana Brooke. And
it was a desperate attempt at a face turn for Lacey Evans going into the new stuff. What I don't like. So before we set up all the draft stuff, what I don't like about what WWE is doing is they're making an effort to carry storylines into what should be a new era. There is no reason why WWE can't just scrap a storyline. If they scrapped this Lashley and Rusev thing and just put Rusev and Lana back together, people would bitch about it for a week or two, and then after that, they'd be fine. Like, you can just scrap it, and eventually, over time, people will forget about the stupid thing. Like, Lashley and Sami Zayn's sisters, like, thank God we've forgotten about it.
Oh, man.
You know? Like,
whoa,
so what did they do? They just chose to scrap it, said hopefully everyone forgets about it, and you know what? For the most part, we did. And there's no reason we can't do that with some of these storylines, except we're going to have to the only one that I'm cool with is Seth and Bray. Like, I don't know. To me,
I found myself entertained by
think that the next major event being Crown Jewel, and everyone knows that it's a standalone deal. We know that Strowman and Tyson Fury aren't going to be feuding for the next 3 years. So, oh, cool, Charlie, you already got it up. Cool. I was gonna list it off. So if you already got it up, you're good. So let's.
Oh, yeah, I have like a little graph almost.
So let's talk draft picks first. So we're gonna go over what theoretically are the top 6 picks for each brand. So this would be the top 3 for Raw and the top 3 for SmackDown on both shows. Okay.
Mm.
So for Raw, their top 6 picks: Becky Lynch, the OC, including AJ Styles, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Charlotte Flair, and Andrade with Zelina. Number 1, Garrett. That's showing a lot of faith in Andrade. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Anybody that goes in that first round of either set of drafts, you know what I mean? Which can I just comment on that really quickly? How it was kind of. I know this was probably known. This is how this is going to be. It's just a weird way to do it. To go about it, having 2 separate first rounds. It's super weird because no drafts work like that. But it's interesting though. I think
they did it
it's
so people would
wild,
want to
like
watch
how
tonight.
the CHL hires people. Hey, you want $1,500 a month? Here, come play for us.
Yeah, because think about it. Yeah, like Charlie said, I mean, if all of these top people would have gone on Friday, USA would have been pissed because everyone seems to have this idea of like, oh, well, Fox is shelling out all this money, so WWE is going to say, screw USA. Listen, WWE has had this TV deal with USA for like 25 years. They're not going to ruin this relationship. Plus, don't forget that USA is still shelling out the same amount of money as Fox, and USA added NXT. So WWE is not trying to screw over USA. Like, do most people see USA as like a second tier to Fox? Yes, but it's really not that far behind. It's much better. You know, it's not like USA is Spike TV back in the day with TNA on it. No offense.
Or Destination America.
Man, I like TNA back in the day. What the heck?
So out of those 6, Charlie, Becky Lynch, OC, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Charlotte, and Andrade, which one do you think is going to be the best pick for Raw?
I gotta say, I really like what they're doing with the OC right now, and It looks like they're kind of gonna do the Street Profits thing first.
Yep.
So that's already I'm down with that, man. That's what the Street Profits need to get get the in ring shown for the people that haven't seen it on Raw. And I don't know, AJ's just killing it right now, dude. And he's US champ.
AJ's just Mr. Steady. They can do whatever they want with him.
I feel like they've been relying heavily on the OC, and I think it's gonna continue throughout these next 6 months until WrestleMania, definitely.
And Garrett, here's SmackDown's top 6 picks: Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, Sasha Banks, Brock Lesnar, The New Day, including Kofi Kingston, and Daniel Bryan. What do you think about that top 6?
Okay, I'm unmuted now. I don't know what was happening there. I think I was pressing it every time I went to unpress it. Anyway, I was being an idiot. So, I mean, out of those guys, I think like the steal pick is like Daniel Bryan because like obviously do you have an opinion, Kat? All right. Anyway, but anyway, I think that guy's just gonna take that brand to another level. Not that there's other people on the brand already but Roman Reigns number 1. I mean, obviously, you know what I mean. Or I guess number 2 technically, but you know what I mean. Like as your number 1 overall pick to pick Roman Reigns, I mean that just makes a lot of sense. You know, you need a guy like someone that's gonna lead your brand like in the vein of a Becky Lynch over on Raw. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. The draft rounds are insane. Like if you actually look at them in just like small packages of the rounds, they're insane.
Absolutely. Charlie, what do you think about SmackDown's top of the draft?
They got The Fiend, and I think that was the most important one that people were wondering.
And Brock Lesnar.
I thought he was I thought everyone thought he was a shoe into Raw, and when SmackDown picked him, that was the first like surprise. Like, oh, what the hell? Because we knew Roman was going to SmackDown, and then I think Strowman was a little bit of a surprise in round 2 of Friday night. So
I think it's because WWE. SmackDown has always been seen as the family show, whereas Raw is more of the unfiltered show. And so WWE said, okay, if that's what you think, Bray Wyatt and Brock Lesnar are going to SmackDown. See ya.
God, I hope Lesnar doesn't have this belt too long. There's so much talent here, dude.
So let's have some fun with it. Instead of just looking at everything and deciding, who do we think won the draft, let's go pick by pick. So Charlie and Garrett, you guys will each be able to weigh in. So we're going to have the 1s against the 1s, the 2s against the 2s, 3s against the 3s, all the way down. You guys are going to say who won that round, Raw or SmackDown. We'll go through, and then we're going to decide who won the draft, all right? So Becky Lynch or Roman Reigns? Charlie, who's a better pick?
Becky Lynch. She's the face right now.
Garrett?
Yeah, I actually agree. That's I think if you're trying to build a good women's division, you need to have someone that's not New Bailey is another base to have, but like we'll get to that anyway. You know what I mean? Like
okay, so Raw's up 1-0. The OC against Bray Wyatt, Charlie.
I have to say Bray Wyatt. These are great picks, but Bray Wyatt's the guy right now.
Garrett?
The guy. Can we tell you who the guy is? It's AJ Styles.
Hey-o.
Oh no.
Got a tiebreaker.
I break the tie. I'm taking Bray Wyatt. He's my guy, Garrett. Sorry, you should have known the tiebreaker was going down, right? I've been a ride or die Bray Wyatt guy. I'm waiting for Bo Dallas to come back too.
Right? Hey.
All right, so it's tied 1-1. Raw SmackDown. Drew McIntyre or Sasha Banks. Garrett, I'll throw it to you first.
I actually think I really like the pick of Drew McIntyre. Who picked you? Who thought that was gonna happen? Right? Like I was like, wait a minute. When they re-put the draft board up because I must have missed that pick, I was like, wait a minute, what? I was like, that's amazing.
Charlie?
Makes sense though.
I like the Drew pick. I'm gonna say Sasha because I like the blue hair with SmackDown. I don't know. I think I'm finally ready to see her on SmackDown. I wanted to see her the first time. The draft happened.
Yeah, I will say Sasha ends up with that because you've got
bro, turning on your boy Drew.
You've got Sasha and Bailey over on SmackDown, but I think Sasha long term will end up being the face of that show, and you need a big feud over on SmackDown. So I got SmackDown up 2-1. Andrade. Oh wait, hold on, wrong show. Randy Orton or Braun Strowman, Garrett?
I think this is actually going to be considered like I don't know if a lot of people would go this way, but I think right now more of an asset is definitely Randy Orton just because of experience. I feel like this is the same reason why you pick some other people that they picked later in these drafts. Like sometimes you just want someone that knows what they're doing.
Oh yeah, Charlie.
I'm gonna go Orton as well.
No, I agree. I mean, you need those guys. It's like people on Twitter were groaning when Jinder Mahal got picked today, but Sean Ross Sapp over on Fightful made a very good point. He was like, look, you can always send him out there to job out against someone, and if someone beats him, they beat a former world champion.
Yep.
So sometimes you need guys like that. And in all honesty, Jinder Mahal ain't that bad. Randy Orton's still a really good worker.
Like, look, tonight you had Ricochet beat Shelton Benjamin. You need a Shelton Benjamin on your show. And you had Alistair beat Eric Young. Like, those guys, they're good for what they do, and maybe they'll do something one day.
So currently it's tied 2-2, so we think that it's even right now. All right, Charlie, Bobby Lashley or Lacey Evans? Wow.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do with Lashley right now, I guess. I still think the guy's a hell of a talent.
Charlie's going Lashley. Garrett?
Lashley.
Right, so we got Raw up 3-2. Garrett, Alexa Bliss or The Revival?
Okay, I really like Alexa Bliss, but The Revival are one of the best tag teams in the world right now, hands down.
Revival, agreed, hands down. I love that pick.
All right, we're still tied. Charlie, Lucha House Party or Kevin Owens?
Now, I'm not going to discredit the Lucha House Party. They've been killing it, and that match last week against the OC, holy shit. But Kevin Owens is on fire. Kevin Owens all day, every day.
Garrett?
Kevin Owens would stunner Sin Cara. He would then do a double. I actually can't even remember who's in the Lucha House Party because it's been so long. It's what is it? It's I'm not even going to remember.
Sin Cara. I'll give you that. He's not in.
Okay, he's not in there. That's right. You know what?
He is on Raw though.
Is Sin Cara actually still in the company? How are they still paying someone to put on that match?
Yeah, Sin Cara. Don't worry, we'll get there when we get to the 15th round over here.
All right. Anyway, not the point, but
yeah, it's
showing my not watching wrestling.
Kalisto, Grand Metalik, and can you guess the last one, Garrett?
Is it Grand Metalik?
The only one that can talk is Lindsay Dorado.
Oh, Dorado, that's right. See, I don't remember any of those guys. All three of them were shoved to 205 Live constantly. You know what I mean? Like
in an instant.
Okay,
and you know what? We will get a Grand Metalik Daniel Bryan match, and it'll be awesome.
We got Raw up. We got Raw up by 2 right now, I believe. Or no, sorry, it's tied.
Is it tied?
All right, Charlie, Natalia or the B Team?
Jeez.
About even level picks.
Natalia.
Garrett?
Same reason as before. This is what I was hinting at. These are the people you need for experience. She just knows how to work a good match.
You do. Yep. So we've got Raw up by 1 right now. Garrett, Viking Raiders or Tamina?
Viking Raiders.
Charlie?
Yeah, Viking Raiders. They're awesome right now.
So we got Raw up by 2 now. Charlie, Nikki Cross or Heath Slater?
I'm gonna go Nikki Cross. Talent. She's awesome.
Garrett?
He does got kids, but Nikki.
Okay, we got Raw up by 3, and then the last one because Raw ends up getting 15. So EC3, Eric Young, and Sin Cara. Sorry, they don't care. So number 12, Garrett, Street Profits or Apollo?
I thought that was Kalisto.
Nope. Street Profits or Apollo Crews?
I mean,
and remember, this is WWE.
I mean, that's true, but also the Street Profits are great.
That's true. Charlie, you going Street Profits?
Yeah, Street Profits.
All right. So we got Raw up this. So we think they won by 4 on the first night.
By the way, I love Apollo. By the way, I think they're doing decent stuff with them recently. They're just still trying. They're still gonna they'll figure something out eventually. I hope.
All right.
Yeah,
Garrett,
hopefully.
Seth Rollins or Brock Lesnar?
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going.
Now
Raw.
we got heel Seth Rollins.
Brady just overrides the pick as the commissioner and says no.
Raw's up by 5. Okay. Charlie, Charlotte or the New Day?
Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte. I love the New Day still, but
Wow. Wow, that's actually surprising that both of you guys went Charlotte. But you know what? I'm only here for tiebreakers, so we got Raw up by 6. Garrett, Andrade or Daniel Bryan?
Oh my God.
Oh, that's such
not
a
fair.
tough one. By the way, I want that match at WrestleMania. Anyway,
That's not fair.
Yeah, I think I kind of showed earlier. I'm taking Daniel Bryan here just because.
Absolutely.
If we're saying who's going to work the better match just you can guarantee it. Just you can guarantee it because Andrade has slept on some people before, you know.
Mm-hmm. Charlie.
So
Daniel Bryan, definitely.
All right, so we got
I
Raw
love
up by
Andrade.
5. SmackDown's chipping away. I think SmackDown had a pretty good draft tonight. I think I going into it on both nights, I thought Raw had the better draft on SmackDown, and SmackDown had the better draft on Raw. But we'll see how it goes. So the 4s, the Kabuki Warriors, Charlie, or Bailey. This is interesting. This is interesting.
Great. I'm gonna say Bailey. New look Bailey. She looked awesome.
Garrett.
New look Bailey looks really interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of the stuff for leading up to this because it looks interesting.
Yeah, because Bailey's a proven commodity, right? The Kabuki Warriors, everyone says like, well, they could be really great as singles when they end up breaking up, but it's not a given, right? Bailey is a given.
Yeah, for once, I feel like they have strong women's tag champions.
Champion versus champion.
SmackDown, don't call it a comeback. They're still 4 down, but we're chipping away here. Number 5, Rusev or Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn together, Garrett.
I think Rusev is a little cold right now, comparatively.
He came back and got put in a real shit storyline.
Yeah. And his look is like, it's like how the Robert Roode look was at first. It's like you're like not really used to it yet. Eventually, this will just be the Rusev look, obviously, but like I don't know, it's just weird right now.
But right now, you're taking Shinsuke.
Yeah, I think I'm taking Shinsuke over Rusev right now.
Charlie.
Sami Zayn is such a good mouthpiece, and he's hilarious, and he makes people care about Shinsuke that didn't before, and everyone should.
Okay, Raw's up by 3. Here's one that's going to be interesting for you guys. Charlie, you're going first. Aleister Black or Ali?
Ali. Nothing against Aleister, but Ali's my guy. My favorite 2 people in the company right now still are Daniel Bryan and Ali to watch in the ring. Like physically in the ring. Yeah. Those are my favorite 2 still right now. So
Garrett, who are you taking?
Oh, man, you know what the tough thing is if I'm picking between these 2 guys, I'm picking who I think one of my next champions could be, right?
Yeah.
And I think because I know what Aleister looks like with a championship on him from NXT, I think we have a tiebreaker here because I think I'm taking Black.
That's fair. That's a good point.
I think I'm going to take Ali in this case with the simple fact of WWE wanted to push Ali before he got injured, so there's no reason why they won't go right back to him and give him one more chance. I like Black personally more, but I think Ali has more promise because we got to remember, I don't know how much younger Ali is, but it's got to be way younger than Aleister.
Significantly, yeah.
Tommy N was around for a while.
Tearing up the Indies, tearing up Bola every year.
Down by 2. All right. Pick 7. This is going to you first, Garrett. Cedric or Ziggler and Rude?
Well, you know, the interesting thing is because this pick literally, I think, happens because they lose the belts. You know what I mean? Like,
and remember, you can't talk about Ziggler without talking about Jerry Lawler's heart attack. So
that's absolutely true. You definitely, and you also can't. Anyway, but I'm not going to go there. But I think in this scenario, I feel like the tag division is just such an issue right now for Raw. I feel like some of these people are going to end up getting traded back around. I don't know how this is going to work out, but like, I think I really like what Ziggler and Roode are doing right now. I don't know why. It's just something I'm really into.
There's something about it, right?
Yeah,
I wonder what it is.
I'm with Garrett, man. Rude and Ziggler, I like them.
Interesting. Okay,
they bring the best out of each other.
Hey, I'm down. All right. For the 8s, what a round. Charlie, Carmella or Umberto? Who, by the way, was not listed in the draft pool for Raw on the website. He was listed as a free agent from SmackDown left over, and then he got picked tonight.
Yeah, so just trying stuff up. I don't blame him. It's just hard. I like what Carmella's doing right now, so I'm going to say her. And that's a babyface, and that's the first babyface they've drafted.
Garrett?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Carmella R-Truth split has to come at some point. So that made sense to kind of subtly announce it without really saying it.
I got kind of sad. She posted on Twitter when they got drafted different times. She posted on Twitter saying, like, I'm crying right now or something like that to R-Truth on Twitter. Kind of sad. I mean, let's be honest. You could have Carmella go out there and read the phone book, and she'd find a way to make it interesting.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, having the Carmella versus Bailey feud could be good.
Oh, I agree. Cool. I think Carmella could really, really shine. So we got it tied up right now. So number 9, Eric Rowan or The Miz, Garrett?
He came to play. The Miz, yeah.
Charlie?
I'm going to agree with The Miz. And real quick, just catching up on chat a little bit. So Zach said Raw has too many championships. So they gave Raw both the 24/7 and women's tag. I think they can still hot brands because they did mention that. So I'm
it's
thinking
very
just
it's
for now.
And plus with the 24/7 title, they can always just do a skit on Twitter and have someone drop it.
Yeah. And then Zach says Ali is only 1 year younger than Black. It's kind of
Interesting.
is Ali older? And then Nathan says AE Dub. Yeah, Nathan, Dynamite on Wednesday, big hype. Should be.
Yeah,
Should be a fun show.
it. I like AEW. I like both of the shows. I think AEW is just going a different direction, so I'm cool with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Jurassic Express on Wednesday. That'll be
Everyone
fun.
that thinks that they have to pick one side or the other. All right, we only got 3 rounds left, guys. So round
All right, let's do
10.
it.
Round 10, Charlie. Buddy Murphy or King Corbin?
Oh my god, dude, these are tough. Paul Heyman is a Buddy Murphy guy, but I'm a King Corbin guy. So, King Corbin.
Garrett?
I've been a Corbin guy since day one.
Hell yeah! You can't ask that question to Garrett. Nah, you know the answer. We've been Corbin guys since the Skullet.
You're giving it to Corbin. Thank God he got rid of that hairstyle, bro.
Just a motorcyclist gimmick.
Yeah, that was not
Biker
good.
guy.
Hey, what's going on, Tommy?
But all right, round 11. We got 2 rounds left. We got SmackDown up by 1. So Charlie, Shorty Gable or Jinder Mahal?
Shorty G, man. See, some people, they weren't happy that it was Corbin and Gable on the same thing. I dig it. I don't know why. They bring out the best out of each other. And maybe this could turn into one of those weird tag teams.
And you already know that it's gonna be a storyline that Corbin was picked 1 pick before Gable, and they're gonna keep the storyline going.
Right. And the Jeffrey Baratheon reference for Beth Phoenix about King Corbin was brilliant. I loved it.
Garrett,
So
Gable or what was it? Gable or
how
Mahal?
much of a heel move would it be if I were to pick Jinder right now? Like that
Hey.
no, I don't think anyone's expecting that.
Hey, like I said, I literally already referenced Jinder.
I mean,
So-
yes, the experience thing. We're definitely there with that. But I mean, like, I agree with you on that. But like, I just think I really am. I don't know about the name change, but I'm really interested in this new Chad Gable. To be honest with you.
Yeah, he's
I
not
like
Chad Gable anymore, bro.
I
I
like
don't
how
know
he's
who that
getting
is.
used.
All right, and the final round. So SmackDown already has the dub, but we can see if we think that maybe Raw pulls within 1 or SmackDown takes it by 3. Garrett. R-Truth or Elias? Two
This is
primarily
where people. All right, I'm about to become the biggest heel in podcast history right now when I say that I hate the 24/7 championship.
Whoa.
I thought it's a gimmick title, then I hate gimmick titles. So but anyway,
Whatever, bro.
so-
Your life is a gimmick.
it is, it's true. But I mean, but no, I mean, and I've been on the podcast in a long time, but that's one of the things I've been talking behind the scenes with Charlie about for a long time is I've just not been into this whole 24/7. It's one of the things that turned me off to wrestling for a while is I thought this was like a desperation move by a company that didn't really know what they were doing and they were panicking because there was a new potential competition on the horizon. Still potential competition, not even close yet, but I mean numbers, but whatever,
Oh yeah. So
but,
you're going Elias.
Yeah, and I also like Elias anyway. I mean, I don't know why. It's actually a great if you're comparing them to like where they are in in the echelons of the company. R-Truth has the I've been there longer. They like me more, but like they're about the same level. These picks all seem like actual draft picks. It's insane.
They do.
Absolutely. Charlie.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Elias as well. 24/7 lost some steam for sure. When Drake Maverick had it, it was awesome, and when it was him and R-Truth, but they've kind of just. They put it on Carmella, then Tamina, and now R-Truth again. So
Basically, what we had Raw going into tonight with a 4 selection lead, and they ended up losing by 4. So we thought that SmackDown
killed it
just
tonight.
absolutely dominated tonight's draft. So let's break down SmackDown's draft from tonight. So here are their picks. And I will say that Raw also picked Samoa Joe, Akira Tozawa, Shelton Benjamin, Rey Mysterio, Titus O'Neil, and Liv Morgan. I loved the Liv Morgan pick, by the way, because they're going to make that something.
Oh yeah.
I really thought she was going to
her
SmackDown.
Twitter? If you've been following her Twitter, it seems like she's going to do something with Bray Wyatt but who knows? All right, here's SmackDown's picks from tonight because we thought that they just absolutely fleeced Raw, apparently. Brock Lesnar, The New Day, Daniel Bryan, Bayley, Shinsuke and Sammy, Ali, Ziggler and Rude, Carmella, The Miz, King Corbin, Shorty Gable, Elias.
There's not one pick I don't like.
That's true.
Him.
That's a good roster. And in the free agent, they added, Drew Gulak and Cruz and Heath Slater.
Mm-hmm.
Gulak working with Daniel Bryan, like, these are going to be good, man. Like, Gulak's big now.
Oh my God, if he brings back the PowerPoint presentations and comes out there with Daniel Bryan and gives a PowerPoint presentation on saving the planet, I'm in.
Oh my God.
Daniel Bryan pays him to make a PowerPoint presentation for him. That's amazing.
But I mean, he's got some talent,
gold.
and he's gotten a lot bigger now. So he looks good.
He has the sauce, as Charlie would say.
Would agree. I just looking at this roster, looking at the SmackDown roster front to back. I'm sure they'll fill in spots in the women's division, but man, it's gonna be hard for Bray, if Bray stays on this brand, to get at that top. Because you got Lesnar, Strowman, and Reigns just chilling on top.
I know.
Right?
3 people that are much bigger than you. It seems like Bray Wyatt would be perfect as the champion on the lesser brand. But now that they're seen on the same level, it's just very tough. Because Bray, I mean, as a character, he's the top character in the company. But as an actual wrestler, unless he's going to have just really short matches with people like Lesnar, but when you ask him to go out there and you have Reigns that takes 17 finishers and Bray that takes 17 finishers, I mean, do I see Bray being in marathon matches? Not really.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
Sure.
I think that Bray should just be one of those guys that pops up and has a big match on one of the big 4 pay-per-views every year. And he probably doesn't want that. He probably wants to be on the road all the time, but
he can do the house shows. Yeah, that's fine. They don't.
I see. Just use him in the capacity they used to use Undertaker back in the day. That's not saying that he is the Undertaker, but that's how it was. It was special when you see Undertaker.
Yeah.
So, very interesting. Garrett, what do you think about the draft overall?
It's a really good, like I said earlier at the top of the show, it's a really good jumping back in point for me because it really lets me in a lot of the stuff that's been going on recently because I don't have to know everything that happened in the last, 6 months or however long as I stopped watching mainstream wrestling for. The first wrestling show I'd watched since I stopped watching was AEW, which is crazy. But it just happened to be how it worked out for me because I decided forever ago that I was going to use that as a jumping back in point if I had to, but I tried to watch all kinds of things. You can ask Charlie. I was trying to always find time to do it, but it just never really worked out. But I really did enjoy it overall. And as we kind of went through, I didn't even realize how good of a draft SmackDown had the second time around. Maybe that was part of the conversation. Like, hey, Raw really made it out with this first night. You have to give some love to SmackDown back on this second night. Maybe that's just the way they planned it out. I don't know, but it's just how it worked out. I guess I don't know.
Agreed. So here's a weird thing. Charlie, do you think that The Fiend and Seth Rollins continue their feud now that they are on separate brands, or do you think they're going to scrap it? Or do you think there's going to be a trade?
They'll do the Crown Jewel thing, but I think there will be a trade, and my gut's saying it's The Fiend. But looking at Raw roster right now, who do they trade for? Charlotte? Is he on that level? Could that be the trade? Is it The Fiend for Charlotte?
I don't know.
Is it The Fiend for the Kabuki War? No, they want those belts. I don't know, man. Alexa Bliss, maybe?
I don't know. The Fiend for the OC. Where'd the Usos end up going? Raw?
They didn't get drafted because they're hurt. Yeah, the Usos, AOP, Hawkins, and Ryder. I mean, that can easily fill up this tag division.
I'd still be down for OC against Reigns and the Usos. As much as I don't want to support the Usos, I'd still be down for that.
Same.
But anyway, I think that overall, because when we had the Superstar shakeup, I remember we came on and bitched because SmackDown got literally nobody and Raw got everybody.
Yeah.
I really think genuinely that these rosters are pretty close.
They leave room for excitement to see what happens.
We have 2 of the 4 horsewomen on each show, which is important, just so that one show doesn't get screwed. Because wasn't it like Bayley got left on her own or something like that?
Yep.
On the last one. So I don't know. And I think it's just telling. I mean, just glancing over, who did they put faith in? The top 10 picks for each. I mean, Andrade getting picked third on one of the nights. And I'd say Drew McIntyre getting picked by Raw. So Raw picked their third picks on each night were Andrade and Drew McIntyre. Do you think that's telling? Thinking that hopefully Heyman wants to use them?
Yeah.
I hope so.
And I will say, there was a Dio Madden line about Samoa Joe falling in the draft because of injury. I love that because that is so true in real life drafts with the NFL and NBA and hockey. If you're hurt, you're going to fall in the draft. Samoa Joe's injured.
I mean, I'll be honest right now, bro. Dio Madden sounds exactly like Michael Cole, and it drives me insane, and I hate it.
Yeah, you know what?
I think you're talking
I was just
about
gonna
Vic.
say I don't.
Oh, Vic. Is it Vic?
Yeah. No, Vic definitely does.
Vic
It
does.
was driving me nuts.
I will say about Dio though, I'm just not quite sure how I feel about his commentary yet. I was talking about this with you when we watched Raw. That one Raw, Charlie is like, he's okay. I just don't know what he's like. Why is he the one here doing this? I just quite don't know what he adds yet, but he'll figure it out. I'm sure, like everybody.
Nia Jax just tweeted, "I'm a free agent. Where will I choose to go? Oh, how the mighty have fallen."
Yeah.
Wow. I totally forgot about her. All right, and then last thing to leave you on, Garrett, I had a kid that found a dead butterfly in the
I mean, whose fault is that?
I had a kid who found a dead butterfly in the courtyard this morning and brought it in and asked me if I had a Ziploc baggie that she could keep it in. What are your thoughts?
What the hell?
That you gotta watch out for those kinds of things.
You get that kid the hell out of your class.
Sure to like and
now.
subscribe. Click the little bell so you know when we go live. Ding! Glad the Packers won, but they didn't cover, so I still hate them. And
Hey,
Geronimo
done messed up, Aaron.
Geronimo Allison didn't die. Packers Patriots Super Bowl. You heard it here first. Charlie and I've been rooting for it for about 12 years now. And until next time, guys, we're out.